pitch black. We're at Mt Barney today. We are heading towards Mount Ernest. I know that you can't see much, but the time now is 5:11. Good morning all. The time now is 6:30. We've been going pretty slow for the last hour and 20 minutes in pitch black. Obviously I got my torch. Okay, so I'm actually on the Maroon trail right now, making my way to almost where the turn off is to Ernest track. So once I get there, I'm going to show you what the turn off looks like, and from there it's pretty much off track. So if you wish to attempt this, you need to have your GPX downloaded onto your device. That way you have some kind of breadcrumb trail to follow. Okay, to be honest with you, I was not expecting this. This seems to be our turn off here. This is the only section that I can see some kind of faint trail that someone's been through. As you can see, it is super dense in here. The actual GPX says the turn off is approximately 10 meters ahead of me, but like I said, if it's bush bashing, you just find the path of least resistance. Okay, this is going to be a very wet affair because it's been raining the last couple of days, and it was a slippery, muddy slog just to get here through the trail as it is, let alone through this rainforest, which is everything is wet. Okay, all right guys, so basically we're making our way up to the ridge. Once we get to the ridge, hopefully it's less bush bashing. Approximately 10 meters from the start of the off track section, this seems more of a trail at the moment. You can see it cleared out a bit and you can actually follow the trail. So according to my GPX, I'm on track. So yeah, it wasn't too bad, even though my pants is already wet because I had to go through a little bit of well, obviously this, and everything's still wet. All right guys, so there is some kind of trail, so it's not too bad. There's a lot of false trails here, but if you follow the general direction, you should be okay. As you can see, besides the first probably 10 meters, it's quite open. There's not dense bush bashing as I thought from the very beginning. So once again, I'm just following this trail up in the general direction. So pretty much this is the steep section. We just came off from there. Once again, the trail is not too difficult. This is the first view of Barney, and up to the very top there would be where we take a right hand turn, and hopefully that's where the ridge is. Obviously this is the first time doing this, so I'm not quite sure if we reached the ridge line yet. We made it to the top of the ridge line. Now we're making our way along the ridge, and let me move over here a bit. This is the first view of the last scramble. You see those organ pipes there? That's Ernest. So we're going to stay along the ridge line. We're going to make our way slowly up all the way, and then that's the scramble. That's supposed to be fun. Well, at least I got some sun. It's getting quite, well, it's quite cold this morning, but it's warming up now. So that's Ernest on that side. I haven't have a clear view of Barney, but that's Barney on this side. If you've done Mezzanine Ridge, you have a beautiful view of Ernest halfway up the Razorback. Alright guys, we're going to plug along. I'm going to plug along this trail and see how difficult the scrambling section really is. So on top of the ridgeline, it's pretty easy going. As you can see, the trail is very visible. Just debris which we can navigate, but it's flat. So we've left the steep section So far it's easy going. Definite trail on the ridgeline. Okay, now we keep going, and now I'm starting to see rocks, which I think will be the start of the rock hop section. Not scrambling per se, still in the ridgeline, and the scrambling comes towards the last, I think, 200-300 meters from what I can see visually. But there you go, I'm approaching the large boulders, so we're getting out of the hills. So far, navigation wise, is not too difficult. 3 at tops. Just the turn off to come into this off track section will be the one that would probably puzzle you the most, because it looks like dense forest, but there's not much bush bashing. We are approaching the loose scree section. This was just, I've seen this many times. It's basically a lot of loose rocks, so you really want to be careful, because if you slip here, you're going to fall on a lot of rocks, which could really hurt. This is quite steep, but there's a lot of handholds and footholds because there's plenty of rocks. You can see we're literally just going right up to the top. Quite windy. So it's quite a scramble. Nothing too difficult, mind you. Wow, look at this. Look at these massive rock columns. Beautiful, isn't it? I'm assuming we're going up the column somehow. So I'm going to slowly make my way up. Okay, so we are now at the final climb. Apparently this is the difficult part. Back here. Actually there was a better spot down there, but then I thought if I climbed higher I'll get an unobstructed view. Turns out I was wrong. That's a shame. Can't be bothered going back down. Alright guys, I'm going to try a new camera angle for the final scramble, and hopefully you guys can see what it really looks like. So basically I've attached a selfie stick to the back of my backpack, and I'm going to attach the GoPro here, and from here I'm just going to record. Hopefully the angle is right. man, so many trees and branches in the way. Oh, this is not gonna work. I think if I just follow this path all the way up, I'll make it to the top of the ridgeline. In terms of the scrambling, quite disappointed, to be honest. It's not as difficult as people made it out to be. It's a lot easier than mezzanine, I can tell you that. There were a few sections which was fun, but Page's Pinnacle had more challenges than this climb. Alright, I'll see you guys at the top of the ridgeline. At the top of Mount Ernest ridgeline. So obviously this is the trail that I'll take to come down. We are now approaching the summit. You can see the cairns that was built there. Once again, the ridge line is pretty much straightforward. You just got to navigate the debris, but there is a distinct trail. Navigation wise, the only difficult part is to choose the correct line when you're scrambling. Oh shit. Obviously you want to stay on the ridge or the spine. That way you don't deviate off to the left and right. Now, I know they say never move rocks, but I wasn't the one to do it. I got myself a little rock to add to the pile. Sorry, I deviated again. So yeah, just choose the correct lane and don't make the scrambling harder than it should be. Tofu's contribution. Ta-da! So I'm going to stay on the Ernest ridgeline and make it all the way down to the bottom, where we take a left-hand turn to avoid private property and bush bash our way back to the trail at Mt Barney. The view's not that amazing, eh? Well, that's the summit of Ernest. We are now making our way back along the ridgeline of Ernest all the way down to the bottom. And funny enough, whoops, I actually slipped just coming down here. You can see the rocks are still wet. Okay, so we are off the rocky part of the ridgeline, and it's pretty much, I don't know what this is called, it's pretty easy going. But the reason why I stopped is because we had our first glimpse of Lindsay, the wedding cake shaped mountain. One of the harder and most difficult summit. You really need abseiling equipment to get to the top. Alright, pretty much easy going so far. Heading towards a lookout point. Hopefully it's nice. Not sure if this is a detour or not, but I'll check later. I just noticed this and I headed towards it. You can see Maroon in the distance. I wonder what happens when we get to the top, because if we look to my right, that's all private land right there. I saw a few houses already, so we get to walk up this little peak. We don't need to go all the way to the top. I think we turn here and make our way down. Yeah, stuff it, let's go to the top. Kind of reminds me of Greville. That's not stable. Woo! Look at this view, guys. Bloody hell, it's so nice. There's a drop. Oh, you can see Lindsay back here. Lindsay. That's not bad, eh? I wonder if you guys can see those houses over there. I wouldn't mind living there, to be honest. You should climb that peak if you want to stay on the official trail. So the GPX I downloaded was from a guy who bypassed this peak by going around the base. He missed out on all the fun and a good view. Oh well, he's lost. We get to keep going. So obviously I'm making my way down now on the other side of this peak. We finally made it to the turnoff. Roughly an hour and 20 minutes from the summit. Okay, so once you come down that peak up there, that's the one where I did the video just then. There's another one, but instead of doing that one, we come straight down this gully. I think that's how we bypass that, because if we scramble up that one and come down the other side of that peak, it's still the official trail of Ernest. Starting the descent from the turnoff. This is bum slide territory if you slip, so be very careful. A lot of loose rocks. Boy oh boy, this is the steepest terrain I've ever descended down. It's quite steep, guys. There's no correct or wrong way, but all these loose I don't know, debris makes it very slippery. So I'm just sliding down as much as I can, because it's better than falling down. I can see you flattened down there, but still a fair while to go. Whoop. So for me personally, I like to lead with the left feet, and then my right hand is my anchor. I slide, and then I use both feet to guide me. But if I can walk, I will. But mostly I'm going sideways. That's how steep this terrain is. I'm almost out of the forest, but then I freaking tripped over and did my ankle. Hopefully it feels better. At the moment it's quite painful. Oh, I had a nice tumble too. Oh, as they say, a lot of these are weeds. They trip over you. Well, if you don't lift your feet high enough, you trip over. Shit, look at this big ass scat What do you think that is? A horse? Horse can't come up here. So the trail I downloaded, basically I keep missing it, and it's very hard in this dense rainforest to actually see any trails. So I'm like, oh, I'm over it. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to follow the creek. If I can get down to the bottom, here, I'm just going to follow the creek all the way up until I hit the trails. Alright, I'm just going to head down. This is the condition of the trail at Barney. Oh, this morning I had to walk like this in the dark. Anyways, back on the main trail to the car, another 4 kilometers or so. That's pretty much it. The navigation to Ernest was pretty easy. Once we bush bashed out, that was a bit tricky, just try to stay on that guy's the trail he took. But honestly, I think it didn't matter which way you went, as long as you went in the right direction, you would have come back out into this main trail anyways. Okay, that's pretty much it for me for today. Look at this, Barney. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next hike. Peace out.